So, hello, welcome to stage 34, the left rear wheel arch, and in this issue we will receive just a few parts. We begin with 38A, which is the left rear wheel arch. It's a metal piece. You've got this beautiful black piece here. You've got the L, which tells you it's the left, and wonderful colouring. The next part is 34B, the side engine covering, and this is even though this is plastic, it is actually a beautiful colour match. Look at that, beautiful. So that's a plastic piece. We also received 38C, which is the regulator, and beautiful. And let me just adjust my lighting just a little bit, because I can see these shadows in all the places I don't want them. Okay, and we also received some DP screws and some BM screws, which I have already here. I put them away. Normally if I just have the one screw I just lay them out, but to save getting in a muddle, I've separated them and put them away. So we will begin by using this piece, the wheel arch 34A, and we also need the regulator 34C, and we will also need a single DP screw, which I'm going to load up my screwdriver now. So what's going to happen is, if we take our wheel arch this way, we've got this little point going upwards, we've got the wheel arch, we've got the black part behind us. We take the regulator. Now you'll see there's a screw hole and a locating tab. There's two holes there. You need to put the locating tab in the top hole, and then holding that down, we need to flip it over, make sure the screw hole is lined up, and then using a DP screw we just secure that in place. And I found a little bit of slippage there when the screw wasn't lined up, but as soon as the screw was lined up, it went in ever so smooth, about as smooth as a baby bathing in baby oil. Okay, so that's that stage done, and that's step 1 and 2 complete. So step 3, we need to bring over the chassis, the complete work so far, and this is going on the rear left. So here's the engine. This is obviously pointing in the direction the car would go. We can also tell left and right, because if you remember when we did the front wheel arches, we've got L for left and R for right, so we have a very good visual indicator of which is left and which is right. So we know that this is going on the left, so we can see that that's going. If you just bear with me, I do apologize. What's happened is we don't get printed magazines with this, we get PDF files. So I'm reading this from a screen, and I've actually got it a little bit too small for me to read, so I just needed to expand that. Okay, that's just come off, that's okay. So that's come off from there. This is going somewhere later. Excuse me. Okay, so what needs to happen is this regulator needs to come onto the inside of the vehicle. We need this pointy bit going up, and we're going to need 2 BM screws. So I'm just going to load up, I'm going to pop 1 BM screw on the table ready, and another one I'm going to load up on my screwdriver, because we know from past experience it's a lot easier if we have our screwdriver loaded up. So we want our regulator on the inside of the car. We've got a screw hole there and there, and we're just going to have a little look around. Yes, so obviously being a wheel arch, it needs to go over the wheel, and we can find 2 screw holes here and here. Let me try and bring the chassis up close. So there's 1 screw hole there, 1 screw hole there, and that is going to go in like so. And this is going to be metal into metal using a metal screw. so we do want to do this fairly tight, but as per usual I'm just going to pop the first screw in just enough to bite, and there it is, and then I'm going to pop the second screw in, line this up. This might be slightly tricky actually. I can see that the regulator may possibly just get in the way, and oh, my screwdriver is not clinging onto screws. Right, so in actual fact it's not really hindered it too much. If you can see from the position of the screw and the position of the regulator, you can see you've got the potential there to get in the way, but it's actually fine. So I can see that that looks like it's lined up properly. So now I will continue to screw this on, and I'm holding the bottom of the car because obviously as I force down with the screw it's going to push it down, so I just want to give it some counter support. Okay, and that's not going in too tight, but let's try this one. It could be the screws are too long, it could be that it's not going in because this one's not in enough. Right, so let's try turning this. I mean, it could be the wrong screwdriver head. Right, it feels to me like the screws are too long. Okay, I will try a different screwdriver. Maybe I've just not got the strength on that particular head. Okay. Right, and I definitely did use the correct screws, didn't I? Bear with me one sec, I've got a horrible feeling I used the wrong screws. Okay, so my apologies. What I've done is I thought I'd put in the wrong screws. We need BM screws, and I thought, oh, BM, DM, maybe I've got confused. I hadn't, because DM screws are completely different. You can see that they're top hat screws. So I have tightened this up as much as I possibly can, but it's still rather loose. I'm not sure if it's going to be a problem because obviously as we bolt things it's going to all stiffen up against each other, but as you can see that is rather loose, and that screw does look rather, doesn't look all the way in. So I'm going to just have a quick cut. I'm going to go through my screws, see if there's an alternative screw that we can use, maybe come up with a washer. I don't know, we'll think of something. Okay, so I have come up with a solution. It's not a perfect solution, but it is, I think it's a very good solution. These BM screws that they've asked us to use are 2x4mm screws, and as you can see they're a little bit too long. It may not matter in the long run, but I just think that's a bit too loose. Now the only 2x3mm screw that I can find are these DMs. Now the problem with the DM is it's a top hat screw, and top hat screws tend to be used for holding washers in. They still function as a screw, and so long as that screw head is wider than the hole in the parts, it should be fine. Well, it is fine. I've got to be honest with you, I did a little test off camera, I'm not going to lie to you. So we have 4 DM screws. If you throw your screws away as you build, you're not missing those DM screws until now. But look, I'm gonna show you what happens. This is how loose it is now. I'm going to remove this BM screw, which is a 2x4mm screw, pop that back into the BM, and as you see, this is a top hat screw. It's probably a top hat screw for this particular part is overkill. That's all it is. It's not going to get in the way, because all you've effectively done is placed a washer. And look, within a couple of turns, can you see that's much better? And I haven't done this one yet, so I'm gonna replace them both with DM screws. Now that's my choice, and the great thing as well is that I've got 4 screws, so I suspect this side will become exactly the same. So I've got 2 left over for that bit as well. So let's pop that one in. So I'll go back to my original screwdriver. So get another half a turn on that. Whoops, my screw's just fallen out. So it looks like I hadn't quite screwed it in enough to bite. It's not a problem. Or I may not have got it in properly in the first place. I've got to be honest with you, I am having trouble with some of these screws. Some of them just aren't fitting properly. As you can see here, this one's too long, and now actually that screw's not even going in. It's almost as though it's a 2mm screw in a 1.5mm. Yeah, that's not staying in. So there's obviously a problem with the metal, or because that is a DM screw. So let's do a compromise. I need something in there. So this DM screw here is absolutely perfect. No, it's not. Right, okay guys, it looks like the DM screw isn't long enough and the BM screw is too long, so I'm going to have to come up with another idea, and I think it might involve using spares from another part work. Do you know what? This is weird. Guys, I'm really sorry. I've put this DM in and I've put the BMs back in because the DM wasn't working for me, and all of a sudden, look at that, that's on there pretty solid. So yeah, disregard everything I've just said. It looks like maybe there was just some paint blocks. So if that was to happen again, the suggestion I would be making is you put the screw in, take the screw out, keep putting the screw in and out, turning it forwards and backwards. So it just looks like a bit of paint block. The next stage we want is we want to be taking this side engine cover 34B up again, and we need to place it up against the left rear wheel arch, aligning the post with the hull. So it looks like it's going this way. This is the top and there's the post, and the only hole that I can see is there. Well, there's 2 holes. There's one there as well. Yes, so it's this hole there. So let's look at it from the outside. There's a hole there, so it needs to, and I apologize for this, I'm not going to get in very well. We need to be sliding that in like that. So what's going to happen is the bottom of this bit is going to go along there, and it's going to rest against that hole there. So it will slide up, and you can see there's a little shape. It's going to go round the wheel arch, and it rests like that, and then that screw hole should line up with that hole there, which we will then secure with a DP screw. So I'll take my DP screw, And what I'm going to do, I think what will be easier, and I'm sorry you won't get a close-up view of this, with possibly my tweezers, I've got it roughly in position. I'm going to place my DP screw into the hole, and then that will enable me, I might actually have to do this left-handed. Yeah, so what I can do now is line up the hole. Once I've lined up the screw hole, it is quite fiddly, and I do apologise. Why I'm apologising for a part work that's a bit fiddly, I don't actually know. But there you go, that's me. And then we just want that, there we go. Right, so I've got that screw in just enough to bite. In fact, yes, so I've got that screw in. You can see that it's not in fully, but I've made sure I've got that screw in place. So now I can fiddle with my tweezers. I can position that to a position that I'm happy with, and that I'm happy with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that back out with my tweezers or something, and then you can see that's pushed the screw out. So what I now want to do is, holding that, I can screw that. And what that should do, as I screw, it should pull the part that way. But until I've got a good hold on it, it's actually, all it's going to do is just push the screw that way. So it is quite difficult because it's trying to cut into that plastic. It is actually very difficult. Might want to try different screw. Some of my screwdriver heads are actually on their last legs. I have got some new screwdriver bits on order, but that is a story all of its own. Right, okay, there we go. I'm happy with that. So that part is on there. Oh, it's come a little bit loose. So let's give that an extra half a turn maybe. That's still loose. You got to remember not to over tighten these because it is plastic. But we just keep going. There we go. That's now not moving. So that little cover is on, and that looks rather nice. So I'm happy with that. And also that is also the stage complete. That's issue complete. So we have a little look at the magazine. Well, I'm looking at the magazine. I can see that looks absolutely fine. So that's the end of that issue. We will be doing another one next week. You may have noticed actually over the last couple of weeks we've started to go down to one issue a week, and that's because I'm happy to say we've done a catch-up on all of my issues. So yeah, there is now only one issue a week, and yeah, so next week is going to be issue 35, and at the time of filming I don't know if I've got 36 coming in yet, but next week stage 35, the engine top cover, and I think you're going to like it because it looks like it's going to be a good issue. So that's it then for this week, and I hope to catch you next week. Take care, bye bye.